The web is the common name for the World Wide Web, a subset of the internet consisting of the pages that can be accessed by a web browser. Without the communication between server and clients or to the browser, then there will be no exchange of data. That can be happen only with the help of this HTTP. CSS or a cascading style sheet which is used to describe the look and formatting of the document which is written in a markup language. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. Welcome back to the last session, that is session 1 of chapter 3. This is last chapter in the unit 3 as well as the whole syllabus of this fundamentals of computers. I am Rohini TS, Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. Before getting into our today's session, we'll just have a quick recap of our previous session. As we all know that in the last session of this unit, we had a discussion regarding chapter 2, that is all regarding internet basics. So we got to know what is the introduction part of this internet, what is networking, and what are the different features we have in our internet. Along with that, we had a discussion regarding applications of internet as well as services. That and all we had a discussion in the last class, and in our today's session we're going to have a content with respect to the chapter 3, that's all regarding what? Web basics. So in this you will get to know what does this web mean, what do you mean by web or World Wide Web, then why do we require this browser, what it is, then what is HTTP, then what about this HTTPS, and also we'll see what do you mean by this URL or Uniform Resource Locator, and also we'll see about a scripting language, that is HTML5, and also we have a CSS. So all these will going to be taken in the class of today's session. We'll see about this web. So when it comes to the web, so we all know that we have a data and we are accessing the data over the internet. But where do we have all those data and information? That is what? World Wide Web. So which is also known as web. In short, we are calling World Wide Web or W3. This is all W3 W's are considered as what? W3. So this is also considered as web. Moreover, it is a collection of website, and each website will going to have a n number of web pages. So we have a web pages. If it is a collection of web pages, then it is a website. If it is a collection of website, then we are calling that as a web. So web is a collection of website, and each website will going to have n number of web pages, and each web page will going to have a content that is going to be stored in the form of what? Text pages, digital image, audios, videos, anything it can be. So that in this World Wide Web, it is a collection of website or web pages which is stored in the web server, where we are storing all these websites, that is in the web server, and connected to local computers through the internet. So we are accessing all these data with the help of internet, which we are getting the resultant with the help of this computers. So we are getting it to the computer with the help of this web servers. Fine, that is what the introduction of this web. And also here you can see that website will going to have a text pages. It is not only static content, it's not only containing text. Along with that, we also have a dynamic audios, videos, and other kind of data which is also there in the web pages, so that user can access the content of these sites from any part of the world. That is what it is considered as a location independent. It won't say that you are in Mysuru, it won't be accessible. You are in Bangalore, you can't access it. There is no restriction over accessing the content of a web. That is why it is considered as what? Location independent. It is location independent. So wherever you are, you can access it content from anywhere over the internet. By making use of that internet, you can access this content from anywhere over the world. So that devices like computer, laptop, cell phones, by making all of these electronic devices, we can access the content of the web anywhere in the world. So that the www along with the internet enables the retrieval and display of the text and media to your device. That device can be laptop, phones, or PC, whatever it can be. So with the help of this World Wide Web or a web, So it is a collection of n number of data, that is website. So with the help of this www, if we have an internet connection and if you have a certain devices, in order to see all those data, everything is in your tip of finger. So that the web is the common name for the World Wide Web, a subset of the internet consisting of the pages that can be accessed by a web browser. So how do we access all these content? We got to know that we have a web page, and each web page consists of text, images, videos, audios. So if it is a collection of web page, then that is a website. If it is a collection of website, then that is a World Wide Web. So we are accessing the content of World Wide Web with the help of this web browser. Now we'll see what do you mean by this browser. Then what is this browser? Why do we require that? As we seen in the previous slide, we got to know that we are using that web browser in order to access the content of World Wide Web. So web browser is a software program that is used to explore, retrieve and display the information which is available on the World Wide Web. We have certain content in the www. With the help of this software program, we are accessing all those content, we are retrieving it, and we are manipulating all these content which is present in the W3 or World Wide Web. So that that information, whatever we are getting as a resultant, which we are getting as a display of the information from the World Wide Web, that can be text or it can be of pictures, web pages, videos, audios, even it can be other file. So we are connecting it or we are getting it which is connected via hyperlinks. So whenever you are searching something over the internet, you might have seen that some text will be there which is blue in color with underline. If you click on that, that will going to take you to some other pages. Then we are calling that as what? Hyperlink. That is giving a navigation from one web page to another web page and categorized with the help of URL, that is Uniform Resource Locator, with the help of address and that hyperlink, that is take you from one web page to another web page in order to do the navigation, so that what transparency or exchange of information is taking place with the help of this browser. Fine. Then here browser is a client program. You need to understand one thing. We have a client and we have a server. One who is seeking for a service, then they are considered as a client. One who is providing a service, then that will be considered as a server. This browser is what? Client. On the behalf of a client, that browser is asking the content from the World Wide Web. So that a browser is a client program as it runs on a user computer or a mobile device. So what are the browsers we have? You can see the example. We have a Chrome, Firefox and Internet Explorer, and also we have a Opera Mini. So all these are the example for browser. With the help of that browser, which is running on the mobile or on the computer system and contacts the web servers. So that server holds the information or a website and for the information requested by the user. So whatever the information which is requested by the user, this browser is fetching the data on the behalf of user, so that the web server sends the data back to the browser. So in the web server, we have a whole content. With the help of this browser, we are sending a request. For example, if you are typing something over the Chrome, that is what you are sending a request. That request is going to be carried by the browser to the server. That server will going to send the data back to the browser that display the results on the internet, which is supported by the devices. On the monitor, on the mobile devices, we are going to get the resultant. As I told earlier, on the behalf of user, this browser is sending the request to the web servers all over the internet by making use of this HTTP, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. With the help of this HTTP protocol, we are sending a request from the browser to the web server. In the web server, we have a massive data. That data will going to be carried back or it is going to be sent back to the browser with the help of this HTTP, so that this browser requires a smartphone, computer or tablet or any of the internet connection in order to work or in order to retrieve the data from the World Wide Web. For that reason, we have this browser. I hope you all understood. Next, we'll see about this Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So we got to know what is World Wide Web. Why do we require that? In order to retrieve the data, I require browser. And now also you got to know regarding browser. That browser is using HTTP or Hypertext Transfer Protocol in order to retrieve the content which is available on the server. So then now we'll see what you mean by this HTTP or Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So this HTTP will going to offer a set of rules and standards which govern how any information can be transmitted on the World Wide Web. We got to know that we have a content in a World Wide Web that has a collection of websites. Then this HTTP will going to set some standard. It is going to be a protocol or set of rules and regulation which we are supposed to follow when we are getting a data, how the data is transmitting within the web, how it needs to be transmitted, how it needs to be governed. So all those kind of set of rules and regulation will be determined and given by this HTTP or a Hypertext Transfer Protocol. By obliging all these set of rules and standard, we can access the content whatever we have in the World Wide Web. Though this HTTP will going to provide the standard rules for web browsers as well as to the server in order to communicate. Without the communication between server and clients or to the browser, then there will be no exchange of data. That can be happen only with the help of this HTTP. And also it's an application layer network protocol which is built on the top of TCP. And also when it comes to this HTTP, we call this as a stateless protocol. Protocol is what? Set of standards or set of rules and regulation which needs to be followed when we are transmitting the data over the World Wide Web. So this is stateless protocol. Why? Because each command is executed separately. So all the command will going to be executed separately without using any reference of previous run command. It won't bother about the previous run command. Whatever the command that you are giving freshly, based on that it is going to make a segregation, then it is going to execute the content. That is why it is not depends on any of the state. Then it is considered as what? Stateless protocol. That is regarding HTTP. Next we have a HTTPS. So we got to know that HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, that will going to give a set of standards and set of rules which we have to be governed while transmitting the data over the World Wide Web. Then what is this extra S here? That is with more security. If you make a comparison between HTTP and HTTPS, this S will going to give more security to our data which we are having or which we are connecting over the web. So that this stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol with secure. S specifies secure. Moreover, it is highly advanced and very secure version of the HTTP. So HTTPS is more enhanced version of the HTTP, and we can more security in this HTTPS. So that moreover it is going to use a port number 443, the number 443 for the purpose of data communication. And also this going to allows the secure transaction by encrypting the entire communication with SSL, that is secure socket layer. With the help of this secure socket layer, whatever the transaction which we are having over the internet, everything will going to be encrypted. In between, nobody can change the content of it. Encryption. If you see your WhatsApp, there we have a two-way encryption. So even sender and receiver can't see the messages in between. So there is more security for our data which we are using and sending over the internet, and it provides the encrypted and secure identification of a network server. So that whenever we are reaching a network server with a security manner or with secure, then our data and information will going to be very private and confidential, so that it is going to improve the security concern of a content which we have over the internet. For that reason, we have this HTTPS. So this will going to allows you to create a secure encrypted connection between the server and browser. Anyway, we are using this HTTP or HTTPS as a standards and set of rules as a protocol, which is building a communication between the browser as well as to the server. This HTTP is also going to create the same relationship between the browser and client with more security. So with more secure encryption methodology, this HTTPS will going to help us. So in order to it offers the bidirectional security of data, both browser as well as server as well as browser, in both the direction, bidirectional security of data can be expected with the help of this HTTPS. And also this will going to help you to protect the potentially sensitive information from being stolen. There will be more security whenever we have this HTTPS. So whenever you are searching, next time you just go with that URL or go for that uniform resource locator. You can see that link. In that, if you have a HTTP, then you can't expect more security. But if it is HTTPS, then there will be more security for your data which you are searching and browsing with the help of this HTTPS protocol. So this is what regarding HTTPS. So now here you can see the difference between HTTP as well as HTTPS. On certain parameter, we have a differentiation between this HTTP as well as HTTPS. So as per the protocol, this is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. This is Hypertext Transfer Protocol with secure. Okay, that is HTTPS. So when it comes to the security concern, somehow this is less secure. Why? Because here we don't have a S, so that can be vulnerable to the attacks or to the hackers. But here in the HTTPS we have a encryption methodology, so that the critical information cannot be accessed by this hacker, so that it is going to prevent the hackers from accessing a critical information. So that means somehow it is secure against the attacks. Then as per the ports parameter, it is going to use a port number 80 in order to have this Hypertext Transfer Protocol. This is going to include a port number 443. So we'll see the next parameter. For what reason we are going to use it for? For the purpose of and the parameter of this used for, we are going to use this HTTP for the website designed for information consumption like blogs. So which is keep on changing or frequently it is getting changed for the purpose of blogs and in order to produce normal data which is not so secure or confidential. For that reason we can have this HTTP. But if the website needs to collect the private information, for example your PAN card number or your credit card number and your ATM card number, there and all, you should use HTTPS than this HTTP. We'll see the next parameter, that is data encryption. So when it comes to HTTP, we do not have or we do not use any of the encryption technology here, but in the HTTPS we do use the data encryption methodology. And then as per the parameter of starts with, so how this URL starts with, that start with http://, but here it is going to be start with https://. Then which is speed or which is faster in accessing? When it comes to the speed parameter, HTTP will be faster, but if we make a comparison between this HTTP and HTTPS, then they are slower than the HTTP. So all these are what? Difference between this HTTP as well as the HTTPS. We'll see the next topic, that is regarding URL. So till now we got to know the word called URL or Uniform Resource Locator. We have a browser. With the help of browser, I am accessing the content. How to access and what is the link between the server and browser or with the client, then that is going to be established with the help of HTTP and HTTPS. All these are allowing us to retrieve the data. What if I don't know where it is? Then we have to see the path, or we should know the location of a data wherever it is in the web. So then that location will going to be identified with the help of this URL or a Uniform Resource Locator. It's a unique identifier which is used to locate the resource on the internet. Internet is what? MYSURU, that is very large. So in that we should find out where do we have our data, what we are seeking for, how the server is getting that data for us. So in order to get to know its location, we are going to use this URL, and also we are calling it as what? Web address. URL address in the sense what? That is also considered as a web address, that is allowing us to know the location of a resources where we have in the internet. Then URL consists of multiple parts, that is going to include a protocol, protocol, whether it is HTTP or HTTPS, then it specifies the domain name www.google.com, bing.com. So all those are what? Domain name that tells the web browser how and where to retrieve a resource. If I know the protocol and its domain name, with the help of that we can fetch the content. So here it is an address on the internet. Moreover, it is made up of protocol, HTTP or HTTPS, and also it specifies the name of a domain along with its path that specifies the folder, file name, and along with the extension. All these can be seen in the URL. So here you can see one of the example, HTTP. So here what is the protocol? HTTP we are using, and www.internet, that is a domain, .com, that is for commercial purpose, that specifies the path. So this how URL look like. So here you can see that HTTP or HTTPS, that will going to indicate the protocol as well as domain name. And here in the www.domain.com, that is your page domain, and also it can be followed by folder's name and file name followed by the extension. It's a folder on the web servers. Not all the pages needs to have all these folder or parent page. So in general, this is how it look like. So HTTP, that is a protocol, hypertext transfer protocol. If it is having more security, if you are looking for a security, then here HTTPS should be there, : // then we have a www, that is what? World Wide Web. From there we are getting the data. So here we have a Google, that is name of a domain. .com specifies what? We are using it for the purpose of commercial or for the business purpose. And if it is .in, that is Indian government website, and that address, if it is .edu, that we are using for the purpose of education. Fine. .org, that is private organization. So all these will going to specify for what reason we are using it. So this will going to completely specifies the path where we are getting the resources over the internet. Fine. This is all regarding what? URL and URL structure. Next we'll see about a HTML5. So we have a HTML, an enhanced version of HTML is HTML5. This HTML is what? It's a hypertext markup language which we are using in order to design or to produce or to create the web pages. So if there is no web page, then we can't have a collection of web page. If there is no collection of web page, then we can't have a website. If there is no website, then we don't have a World Wide Web. So in order to create that web pages, we are going to use a markup language. Then we are calling that as a HTML. If it is an enhanced version, then that is HTML5. So HTML5 is a next version of the HTML, that is hypertext markup language. So this is going to provide some of the extra features which will going to make the HTML much more easier. With the help of this HTML5 markup language, with the help of this, we have a enhanced feature than the HTML. So these will going to newly introduce a features like which is going to make your website layout clearer for both the website designer and for user. If we have a proper user interface, then there will be more attraction towards to that particular web pages. So that in order to build that clearer web page as per the perspective of user and as per the perspective of designer, this HTML5 will going to introduce some of the new feature. With the help of that, we can enhance the quality of our web pages. So you can see that we have certain elements or tags we have, that is header, footer, nav, article. So all these will going to specify the layout of a website. With the help of all these tags, all these elements of a HTML5, we are going to create or build web pages. Next, why do we require this HTML5? What is its feature? Why do we require it? It is enriched with advanced feature which make it easy and interactive for designer as well as for developer and to the user. So whatever the features we have in HTML5, that is more enhanced version than the HTML. So it will going to make it very easy as well as interactive in the perspective of designer, developer as well as to the user, so that it is easy to use, and it is going to allow you to play a video and audio files. So that is what the reason, whatever the web pages that we are seeing and we are getting over the browser, that is more interactive. If it is only consist of text, we may get bored. In order to avoid all those things, that is more interactive and user friendly, that too with the help of this HTML5. And also this is going to facilitate you to design the better forms and building web application that work offline. Even web pages, you can save it for the offline mode, correct? Whenever you are searching over the internet, you can save it for offline, so that in order to have all those better design process and all, this HTML5 is required. And also it provides you advanced feature that you can normally have to write the JavaScript to do. In order to enhance this feature, you can have this HTML5. More important point regarding having this or using this HTML5 is what? This is going to serve for a long time. So we can have this HTML5 markup language even in future. So with the help of this, we can create very interactive and enhanced web pages. We'll see the next topic. That's all regarding CSS or a cascading style sheet. We got to know we have a web pages, correct? In order to create that web pages, we are using a HTML and HTML5. This CSS or a cascading style sheet which is used to describe the look and formatting of the document which is written in a markup language. So in order to define more clearer kind of things, or in order to describe how it look like and how to format that, in order to improve the efficiency of outlook of that web pages, we are going to use this CSS or a cascading style sheet. Morely, we are going to use this with a HTML or this markup language in order to change the style of web pages and user interface. In order to make it much more interactive, we are using this CSS or a cascading style sheet in order to improve the layout and outlook of the web pages. And also it can be used with XML, and also you can use this with plain XML also. In order to improve its efficiency and all, we are going to use this CSS or a cascading style sheet. So this is used with the HTML and JavaScript in most of the website to create the user interfaces for the application and user interfaces for mobile application. So in order to make our mobile web pages more interactive and friendly, user friendly, we use this CSS with a HTML as well as with a JavaScript. By having all these three collaboration, we are seeing a very interactive, attractive and user-friendly web pages. Then why we are supposed to use this CSS? Mainly you can add a new look to your old HTML document. This is what some renovation to the house. So we are using some of the infrastructure changes. We are doing some interior decoration. All these kind of decoration to the web page can be done with the help of this CSS. And also you can completely change the look of your website with only a few changes in the CSS code. So this is more user friendly way of changing the content and look of a web page. I hope you all understood my today's session, as well as we are in the end of this unit, chapter, as well as the whole syllabus of this fundamentals of computers. Let me meet you in the next session with a question paper discussion. Until that, keep learning, keep on growing. Thank you.